The silence of catfishing is good for your soul. Silence is where you find God. Don't believe in God? Go someplace quiet and listen. Regardless of your belief or lack of, silence is good for you. Have you ever considered leaving to go find yourself? All you have to do is shut up. This is a newspaper article written by one of my Facebook friends, John E. Manzo, and he gave me permission to use it in this video. True confession as a retired minister. I mean, no offense to anyone, but when it comes to hymns, I do not like many of them. Some of them I like a lot, but most of them, no, I do not like them. In fairness, I do not like to sing either. For many people, music moves their souls, and I am not typically one of them. As chatty as I am, one thing many people do not really know about me is that I love and cherish silence. When I am working on something, I generally don't have anything on to listen to. Usually, when I am driving in silence. I really like silence. When I was in active ministry and took time away, I would often visit a monastery and stay there for a few days. I did my own thing, read, prayed, and hung out with myself, not interacting with many people. I have owned a car for a year and a half, and recently my wife turned the radio on in the car. It was the first time the radio was ever used. I have listened to some of my own music, occasional podcasts, and a couple of books, but I usually drive in silence. I am not drawn to noise. One of my favorite hymns is entitled, "Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence." The verbiage goes back to the 4th century, and the melody goes back to the 17th century. The words start out brilliantly. Let all mortal flesh keep silence, and with fear and trembling stand, and does so with a very haunting melody. From a spiritual perspective, I'm reminded of the prophet Elijah, who in terror ran away because he was a marked man from an evil king and queen. In his solitude, he experienced God's presence in a still small voice coming from a quiet breeze. Elijah encountered God in silence. We live in a noisy world. It is so filled with noise to the point that we do not even notice it. We drive along with noise in our cars. Stores usually have background sounds or music on. Restaurants often have music playing in addition to the conversations of the people around us. Even churches make sure to fill almost every minute of the time at worship with either someone talking or music playing. Silence is hard to come by. I say this as a religious person, but this is also relevant to people who are not people of faith. We can talk about finding God in silence, but we also cannot find ourselves or peace within ourselves if we constantly surround ourselves with noise. It is not that I object to beautiful music or important words, but there are times when we all need to be in silence. Silence, whether we acknowledge it or not, has the capacity to heal or to challenge us in our unrest. Maybe we need to feel that unrest to heal. Whether we like to acknowledge it, noise can be disruptive because it can trigger us. Information, disinformation, misinformation, or things that spark memories do trigger us. The level of tension, depression, and stress is at catastrophic levels in society. People cannot get restful sleep, and a stroll through social media demonstrates that people are often at wit's end. Silence is, however, healing. For one, in terms of our personas, silence makes us confront ourselves. The longest and most difficult journey most people make in their lives is the journey within. Silence forces us into a time of self-reflection and grappling with ourselves. The grappling may be good, but it can also be difficult. The fruits of this grappling, however, is growth. Silence also allows us to explore our own imaginations. When we are constantly being entertained, that entertainment diminishes our own imaginations. We are constantly being impacted, not by our own sense of wonder, but the wonders of other people. I love to be entertained as much by the great work of other people as anyone, but I enjoy quiet time to think and entertain myself. When I stop seeing what others have to say or do, I get to embrace my own sense of wonder. From a spiritual perspective, however, I find silence to be a real gift. I love the words, "Let all mortal flesh keep silence." Often people say that praying is talking to God, instead of opening ourselves to God. I do believe that God speaks to us, but not in words, but in our own unconscious and our silence. The lesson of Elijah, at least to me, looms large. Silence is a good thing. In these final weeks of the year, in the days before Christmas, I invite people to quietly go about in the quiet and appreciate the word, shh. YouTube thinks you'll like this video. Let me know in the comments if they got it right.